everyone. Today is April 13th, and we have a special webinar today on some special education guidance. Vic has put together some information for you. This is a long way in the making, so it's great that we finally have this guidance from the department. So I'll turn it over to Vic, and he can tell you about some of the guidance that he's received from the department.
Thank you. Let me first say that I am not an attorney, and secondly, I am not a special education expert. However, this webinar is going to be geared to communication between special education professionals and staff of the 21st Century Program. And that's our main focus, because our goal is to make sure that we provide children with a safe and supportive learning environment. For a long time, we were serving kids with disabilities, but we really didn't have specific guidelines for our program. And what has happened is the U.S. Department of Education, through U4Youth, has provided a series of guidelines, and there's 10 topic guides, and then there are some webinars also available, and they're all specific to the 21st Century Program. And then the Iowa Department of Education, our attorney there, Thomas Mays, has provided guidance for the special education professionals, and it's listed on both the Special Education Guidance webpage and the 21st Century webpage on the Department of Education website, educateiowa.gov. So this has been a long time where people, have wanted this guidance, and so I'm very happy that we now can point people in the right direction and have those lines of communication open so that we're not guessing about what the needs of children are, and we can make sure that we're doing the best job possible for our children. On the screen you can see a PDF that I've created. This is kind of something it's available for download. There are 3 downloads. One is this document. One is guide number 8, which deals with, from the U.S. Department of Education, dealing with participation in an IEP with staff from the 21st Century Program. And then the third document is the actual state guidance. All 3 of these would be extremely beneficial. This PDF has clickable links so that you can also access the guidance, and you can access all the guides. And as a nice bonus, there are some webinars down at the bottom of the document that you can use to improve your knowledge of the 21st Century Program and our responsibilities in making sure we provide a safe environment for our children. Statistically, we provide about 12% of our kids are kids with disabilities, and so we need to have critical information, just like any program. One of the things that we need to do is to encourage the district special education professionals to work with the 21st Century Program, because we don't want a situation that staff has gone home for the day and we're working with kids that have specific needs, be it medication or behavior where they need a one-on-one support, that we're not providing it for them. And sometimes, kids' situations change, and we need, as staff people that are serving children, we need to be informed of that as well. So this is really focused on communication, and hopefully this guidance can break through any barriers that you may have encountered, because now you can point to the Department of Education special education guidance site and say, look, here's a document, and be included in some of these conversations. So that's a very good thing for us. Michelle, can you bring up that the letter from our attorney?
Sure. Letter's up.
Wonderful, thank you. And so this letter talks about the law and how it relates to children in the 21st century program. And so at the beginning of this letter, there's citations about the law. You know, and for example, it says 21st century programs must not discriminate on the basis of disability. And most of us are well aware of that, and we do not turn children away, but at the same time, you know, we need to have information so that we can protect and serve and make sure that child has a safe learning environment. So if a child is IDEA eligible, then the child's IEP team is to consider whether the child needs supplementary aids and services and program modifications, and that can include the 21st century program. So we don't have to be kind of a gray area. This program can be fully included in a child's IEP, and we want to make sure that we're providing for the child's needs. Just because that bell rings for the day and the regular school day is ending does not mean that responsibility for that child ends. That's critical. And this is where this communication piece comes in, because now we have documentation that we can work with principals, administrators, special education professionals, and I think they will be very happy that we're not having gaps out there where, you know, there's a question about what to do for a child. We want to make sure that the child's needs are well communicated into those extended learning hours for the 21st century program. And here's a quote from the letter. It says, "It is important that 21st century staff participate, when appropriate, in IEP or 504 meetings." Okay, so if you have to pay someone from the 21st century program to attend a morning meeting for a child, that's acceptable, and you know, you can use those 21st century funds for that. And then there are some examples of students so that you can kind of get a better sense of the law. And these are all good examples. I'm not going to go over them because I encourage you to download this letter on your own. But I wanted to show you what it looks like. It's available as a download here in this webinar. It's available on the Department of Education Special Education Guidance webpage, and it's available on our 21st Century website as well. So let's go back to that PDF. And our state guidance aligns perfectly with the guidance we've received from the U.S. Department of Education. And there's a link to all of those documents, and then there are direct links to the various topic guides. There's even a state coordinator's guide, even though that would be my guide. I'm sharing it with you in the interests of transparency. I mean, there's no secret information in there. We're all on the same team, you know, working to help kids. And the federal guides are very specific. The first one is an introduction to inclusion. That's probably very useful if you've got some volunteer staff, college students, high school students, you know, that are not regular teaching staff, to let them know a little bit about inclusion. The second guide is the legal foundations of inclusion. That's probably more for the directors, or you may want to share that with your professionals at the district level. Then establishing inclusive spaces. This might be very useful for a professional development where you're working with staff on, you know, how they can design programming that includes kids with disabilities rather than excludes them. And then another one is specific to training and developing staff to support inclusion. Guide number 5 is identifying and developing partnerships. And guide number 6 is engaging families and communities to support inclusion. Guide number 7, working with schools and districts to support inclusion. And then guide number 8, working with IEPs. Section 504, plans and transitions. I think that guide number 8 is probably going to be initially your most important one, because we need to be having open lines of communication about the needs of kids and any kind of special services, the medications that they may require. Because no one wants to have a child get sick and you don't know what to do, or have an incident happen because we were not informed that a child had some special needs. So I think that, you know, by working collaboratively, we're going to prevent a lot of bad situations from ever occurring, and that's my goal. Guide number 9 is addressing individual needs and engaging all learners. And then guide number 10, supporting social emotional learning. That's always a great topic. And finally, they've included a glossary. And below that is a direct link to the Iowa 21st Century website. If you don't already have it bookmarked, you can just download this PDF, go there, and then I would encourage you to bookmark it. U4Youth has put together 6 recorded webinars that you can use to increase your knowledge, or perhaps have a meeting with local special education professionals and maybe take a look at these together. But I would encourage you, if you want to get some more information, to view these webinars. And I'm delighted that now we have some guidance that's going to help us work better and more collaboratively, and that's just going to improve the learning environment for children. And I think that's what we're all about, is doing the best job we can for kids.
I just think there's a lot of opportunity here with the webinars from U4Youth and the guidance. Imagine all the kids that you're serving that might have undiagnosed disabilities as well. that might be traveling under the radar. It's just good practice to be as inclusive as possible. And we talk about that anyways, regardless of disability or status or plan they might be under. So I think this guidance has real potential to help practice at the site level.
And all of these documents it's all public, so feel free to share that locally. Make copies, you can print it out, pass it out in meetings. The goal of this is to create those collaborations and increase dialogue and communication so that we're doing the best job possible for our children.
Any questions for Vic on the guidance?
Keep in mind, I didn't write any of this guidance. I'm just disseminating it.
Well, if there are any, as you go to implement some of this guidance, please let us know at the Iowa After School Alliance if there's anything we can help with. Since it's new to programs, there might be some state level professional development or resources that we can provide. If you have any technical questions about the guidance, please forward those to Vic. Otherwise, we'd be happy to help with inclusionary practices.
Absolutely, and you know, this guidance already, I think, has done some good in preventing potential disasters from happening for children, and that makes me happy because, you know, I want our kids to have the best possible learning environment. And like I said, if you have questions, feel free to email me or call me at any time, and I'll do my best. If it's not something simple that I can answer, then I will direct you to our state attorney, who can answer any of the legal ramifications that may arise. But I think that this is just going to be well accepted as the right thing to do for kids.
I will say on a practical level, though, that oftentimes special education budgets are very lean, or at least resources are very tight in special education. That could differ on a district by district level, but just know that going into conversations that school administrators might struggle with having enough resources to fulfill obligations through the Individuals with Disabilities Act. Great. Well, if there are no questions, we will end today's session. Thank you, everybody, for joining today. I will go ahead and post this on the wiki as well as the resources that are available. So check back if you have any questions. Thanks, everybody.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.